What is up, ladies and gentlemen of the online Jamily? This, of course, here's JamiroFan2000 with another episode of the Jamiroquai Minute. All the latest Jamiroquai news, and it looks like we had some listening parties this last week of January of 2023, starting off with the London Traveling on Moving Dolby Atmos Contest listening party. So let's get into more news about that. In Jamiroquai Music Listening Party news, I had to go to Jamiroquai Minute to note that Jamiroquai did have three listening parties in regards to the recently released Dolby Atmos and, of course, V Acoustics recreations, spatial audio mixdowns of Jamiroquai's 1996 album Traveling on Moving that recently, at least on the Dolby Atmos side, had a debut over on the Apple Music streaming platform, or paid music streaming platform a few months back going into the end of 2022. So Jamiroquai decided to do some listening parties here in January of 2023, at least in the tail end of the month, to celebrate that new mixdown, and the first of which, of course, was the London Traveling on Moving Dolby Atmos Music Listening Party, which was a contest for only, I believe, up to 35 members of the Jamily were able to win tickets to this event. That was being hosted at the Dolby Atmos Official Music Listening Center in London, which was also featuring a live Q&A with band members of Jamiroquai in the case of Derek McKenzie and, of course, of Sol Akimbala, and some great pictures from that live music event did end up on Instagram, so be sure to check over Instagram under the hashtag Jamiroquai to check out those great pictures. But some of the pictures, there were some very interesting questions that were asked at this event, and I would like to say a big thank you to the member of the Jamily on the Jamiroquai subreddit in the form of the member named FWNUGRHA, or Fanugra, or however to pronounce your name, so forgive me if I screwed up the enunciation of that, but they sent back a really cool report from that said event over on the subreddit. So I thought I'd share it here of some of the questions that they fielded at this event. One of the questions, of course, they asked was about symphonized, or of course midnight funk. But they didn't really give a clear answer when Midnight Funk will be released, but both Derek and Sola did agree that they loved the song Bullet, which Bullet is a leftover instrumental that was on the Virtual Insanity single release in the UK. So if you've never checked out Bullet, check that out on your own time. There was also a question about when the new Jamiroquai album would come out, and the answer from Derek was that they're in the writing process. They said they were definitely in a writing process that was initially planned for COVID, but Derek said that there is definitely a new album coming through because the ideal situation for them is to tour by putting a new album out before they start touring. So this is not written in stone that the ninth Jamiroquai album will be coming out prior to June and July, once these three solitary tour dates for Jamiroquai, mostly in Europe, start happening. But at least we know the process that they like to follow through when it comes to putting out a new album and then go on touring. So very cool answer there. And when it comes to the writing process, the fan who issued this report on the Jamiroquai subreddit noted that the mix was so good that you could clearly see the finer details, especially in songs like Use the Force. And also, somebody in the audience did ask that very polarizing question: why did Stuart Zender, back during the Synchronized era in 1999, 1998, 99, leave Jamiroquai? Derek and Sola simply answered, to pursue a personal project. And some members of the Jamily know that Stuart would end up leaving Jamiroquai and start working on an album called Azer, which hopefully we'll be seeing a reissue or a remastering, according to Stuart Zender on his social media, hopefully sometime in the foreseeable future, and of course I will report that here on the Jamiroquai when that becomes so. But that is basically the recap of the first listening party of the three listening parties that happened this past week in the end of January in regards to the Dolby Atmos and of course V Acoustics creations, spatial audio mixes of Jamiroquai's album Traveling on Moving. And if you like to check out all those great pictures from that first listening party, I'll be sure to put links to my Injure albums on those pictures from that event down in the description area of this episode of the Jamiroquai Minute down below, so be sure to check out that goodness in your own time. And of course, there is going to be more listening party. Of course, there's going to be a few more listening parties coming up, so I'll be covering them here on the Jamiroquai Minute when I can, when it's in close proximity to happening. But as always, this is JamiroFan2000, and I'll see you again really soon with another Jamiroquai Minute. Bye bye, everybody, and take care.